Hello everybody, Connor here, and welcome back to another episode of Gaming Retrospective. Whenever a new Nintendo console releases, there's always the same 3 or 4 series that never miss a generation. You got Smash Bros, a 3D Mario or Zelda game, Mario Party, and of course, Mario Kart. They're all mainstays for Nintendo, but when it comes to having a casual multiplayer experience, Mario Kart is easily the top pick. It's simple, chaotic, and easy to pick up. Almost everyone has played some version of Mario Kart before, and if you haven't, what's wrong with you? There's a reason why you only need 2 things at a college party: beer and Mario Kart. Each entry in the series builds upon the last. Nintendo always throws in some kind of new feature or gimmick to keep things feeling fresh. Most people got their start with whichever console they grew up on. For me, it was Super Circuit on the Game Boy Advance, so I'm a bit jealous of anyone whose first experience was on the GameCube or Wii. It's not the kind of series where you need to play every entry to understand the latest. No one's gonna say, "Whoa, I can't hop into Mario Kart 8 until I know what happened in Mario Kart Super Circuit." So naturally, a lot of people haven't gone back to the older entries, especially the one that started it all: Super Mario Kart on the SNES. The funniest thing is that Super Mario Kart wasn't even planned to be a Mario racing game. After the release of F-Zero for the SNES, Nintendo wanted to create a racing game that could support 2-player multiplayer. F-Zero utilized the SNES's Mode 7 graphics, which gave it a 3D background effect perfect for racing. The problem was that F-Zero's high speeds couldn't handle the Mode 7 graphics and split screen at the same time. So instead of scaling F-Zero down, the devs started experimenting with a brand new kind of racing game. Something that was much slower paced with smaller tracks, but had chaotic items and focused on 2-player split screen multiplayer. While working on the prototype, the team added some placeholder characters just to get a feel for what it would look like to see drivers speeding past you on screen. One of those placeholders was a guy wearing overalls, and someone on the team went, "What if we just made that Mario?" And from there, Mario Kart was born. Just like F-Zero, Mario Kart also utilizes the Mode 7 graphics. This is what gives the courses that 3D effect without actually being 3D. It might look a little dated now, but for the time, it was revolutionary. Super Mario Kart ended up releasing in the later half of 1992 and was met with commercial success. It was more than just a cash grab taking advantage of the Mario Bros. Characters. It was an actual solid racing game and one of the best multiplayer experiences the SNES had to offer. Booting up the game for the first time brings you to the main title screen. From here, you're met with 2 options: 1 player or 2 player. Choosing 1 player brings you 2 more options: Grand Prix or Time Trials. You also get to choose your speed class: 50cc, 100cc, and once you beat the game in 100cc, 150cc gets unlocked. The Grand Prix works just like any of the other games in the series. You race against 7 CPUs across a total of 4 cups: the Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, and the Special Cup. The first 3 are unlocked from the start, but you gotta earn the right to race on the Special Cup. To unlock it, you have to rank first in all 3 of the other cups, which is a lot easier said than done. The skill curve on this game can only be described by 2 words: f***ing nuts. You miss a turn, you're in the water. You hit a banana peel, you're stuck spinning for at least 5 seconds. The character roster is solid too. You got classic characters like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Koopa Troopa, Bowser, and Donkey Kong Jr. Donkey Kong Jr. is a crazy pick, but if you look back at the era this was released in, it makes a lot of sense. You might be wondering why they chose Donkey Kong Jr. over the DK we all know and love. It's because the Donkey Kong we're familiar with didn't actually exist yet. He didn't get his redesign until Donkey Kong Country in 1994. So instead, we're stuck with Donkey Kong Jr. Why they picked him over the normal Donkey Kong? Really couldn't say. One thing that makes Super Mario Kart unique from all other entries is that each cup consists of 5 tracks instead of 4, making for a grand total of 20 playable courses. Each race also has 5 laps instead of the usual 3 in other entries. The tracks are all themed around a familiar Mario environment. You got Mario Circuit, Donut Plains, Ghost Valley, Choco Island, Koopa Beach, Vanilla Lake, and Bowser's Castle. Mario Circuit is your basic track, nothing too fancy, just some tight corners and oil slicks to throw you off. Donut Plains steps it up a little bit. It throws in dirt and water to make the course a little more challenging. Ghost Valley has no guardrails and very tight corners. Choco Island has a bunch of mud and walls that slow you down. Koopa Beach is tropical themed and has a lot of water hazards and ramps. Vanilla Lake, ice. And Bowser's Castle is more maze-like with multiple paths, tight hallways, and thwomps that can block you. These are all solid themes for courses. They're all different enough from each other and provide gimmicks to keep the gameplay fresh. The Special Cup ends off with Rainbow Road, which is the most unique visually out of the tracks. It has no rails and a bunch of sharp turns. It's definitely the most interesting track in the game by far. It's the only course in the game with only one variant. That's really my only gripe with the courses in Super Mario Kart. There's damn near 5 versions of each track, and they're all numbered. They're also similar to each other too, which makes it hard to tell the difference between them. It's like if you asked someone what their favorite course was and they said Mario Circuit 2. What makes it so different from the other 4 Mario circuits in the game? It's just a different layout, but everything else is the same. I mean, this isn't even Mario Circuit 2, this is Mario Circuit 3. For being the first game in the series and over 30 years old, Super Mario Kart controls surprisingly well. You accelerate with the B button and use the L and R shoulder buttons to drift. The drifting in this game is slightly different than later entries, it feels more like a slide. I tend to catch myself drifting a little too early though, which usually results in me slamming into a wall or falling off course. It's not that the drifting is bad or unresponsive, it just takes getting used to. I also learned it helps to take your finger off the gas and slow down on some of the sharper turns. There's also item plates scattered across the courses, and you use the A button to use an item. The items in Super Mario Kart are a lot more tame compared to the later entries in the series. There's no blue shell, bullet bills, or mega mushrooms, just the essentials. You got the classics like the mushroom, the banana peel, green shells, and red shells. The mushroom gives the player a speed boost. It can be used to speed through the grass or to use shortcuts. It's a bit too sensitive in this game though. It feels like most times I use it, it launches me across the course. The banana peel can be dropped onto the track or thrown, and it makes anyone that touches it spin out. The green shell can be thrown in front or behind you as a projectile that can hit other players to make them spin out as well. The red shell works the same way. As long as you're in the target's range, it'll lock on and ruin their day. Unless it hits a wall first, which is what usually happens. The star makes the player invincible for a short amount of time. You can use it to plow through obstacles and opponents. And then you have the thunderbolt. This one zaps every player and shrinks them down and allows for them to be crushed by others. And for some reason, it lasts an absurd amount of time in this game. These are the basic Mario Kart items and have become mainstays in the series and appear in every single game. Now this is where things get a bit interesting. There's 3 other items in the game that never became staples the same way the others did. First up, we got the coin. It's an item that gives you 2 coins when you use it. It's basically useless though, considering you can just pick up coins from the track. The more coins you collect, the faster your cart goes, but I think anyone would rather have anything else. The next item is the feather. This one lets you hop into the air, which is useful for dodging hazards and using shortcuts. This one always gets forgotten about because it used to be an exclusive item to this game until it returned 25 years later in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Battle Mode. I'm not much of a fan of this one either. Just like the coin, I'd rather just have something else. It just feels a bit too sensitive, and you have to time it just right. The last item only appears in the battle mode, and that's the Boo. It lets you steal an item from your opponent and turn invisible for a few seconds, which makes you immune to attacks. But besides that, that's every single item the player can get in Super Mario Kart. The CPUs also get access to exclusive items, and each character has their own unique item that can be used as much as they want. Mario and Luigi get unlimited stars, Peach and Toad have poison mushrooms that shrink you on contact, Donkey Kong Jr. gets a bunch of banana peels like he has a Costco membership or something, Yoshi drops eggs which act like more annoying red shells, Koopa Troopa gets green shells, obviously, and Bowser gets fireballs. This is such a cool concept, but it would have been way cooler if playing as these characters gave you an exclusive item rather than it just being exclusive to the CPUs. And to make matters worse, the CPUs in this game are crazy. They don't play fair, and they don't even pretend to. If you get too far ahead, they'll speed up or rubber band just to keep the race close. They're always on your tail. They also don't get a cooldown on their exclusive item, and they'll just spam it if they need to. It makes the single player experience super intense. And if it wasn't punishing enough, if you finish lower than 4th place in the Grand Prix, you fail the race and can't proceed. You get 3 retries, and once you're out of those, it's back to the title screen. It sucks when you're doing well, and then one mess up causes you to fail out. Having lives is such an odd rule for Mario Kart, and I can see why they eventually removed it in future entries. And if you fail out of the Grand Prix, you can always try multiplayer. In Super Mario Kart's multiplayer, you're able to play split screen with a friend in the Grand Prix, or on specific tracks in Match Race. But the main multiplayer draw for Super Mario Kart is the Battle Mode. You're able to choose from 4 battle arenas and compete in a 1v1 balloon battle match. This one's a lot of fun, but with the items not being as fine-tuned as the other entries, it's a lot harder to hit your opponent. Overall, Super Mario Kart does a great job setting up the Mario Kart franchise. Even though it isn't my first pick in the series, it still helped make Mario Kart one of the best standout franchises on Nintendo consoles. It introduced the gameplay formula that is still used today: fun, chaotic races with unique characters and items that keep the game fresh. Sure, it's not perfect, and some parts haven't aged the best, but as the foundation of the series, it does its job, and aspects of this game are still present over 30 years later. It's definitely my least played in the series, but the only thing that keeps me coming back to this one is Donkey Kong Jr.